It's mod time! I'm going to turn this Casio AE1200 in resin into a bad as hell full metal Casio Royale. Welcome back to the channel, all you watch nerds. As always, I am Chris with Awkward Horology, and today we are going to be modding this well-known and well-loved Casio AE1200, aka the Casio Royale, from a resin case with acrylic crystal to a super cool full metal case with sapphire crystal, a metal band with screw links, and a milled clasp. By the way, for those of you wondering why it's called the Casio Royale, I'll explain. Roger Moore wore a similar designed Seiko, not Casio, in the 1983 James Bond film Octopussy. The reference number was, I believe, G757. And thanks to its similar looks by Casio, and that Casio sounding familiar to Casino, of course, they've named it after Ian Fleming's first book, the 007 Casio Royale, or Casino Royale. A book which has had not one, but two theatrical releases, the 2006 excellent and probably one of the best Bond films with Daniel Craig at the helm, and the decidedly less successful release with legend David Niven at the helm in 1967. Also, I think there were some TV adaptations in the 50s, but that was a good 40 odd years before my time. Now, I can't go any further today without acknowledging SKX Mods for their case and equipment. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. Instead, I bought this stuff from them over the Christmas period directly, but I will leave affiliate links to the Casio Royale in the description below. And if you're going to mod it as well, I'll leave a non-affiliate link to the SKX Mods website too. Now, let's get on with the mod project. So, as you probably all know, I am fairly unskilled when it comes to stuff like this, and I'll be the first to admit that I'm not a regular modder, shock horror, but there is something about the Casios that lend themselves to being easier and much safer to mod. Maybe I think that's because of the lack of hands and just a quartz module instead. Probably makes it a bit easier. I feel like less of a monkey with tools. I don't think I'll break it as much. So we have from SKX Mod a case with sapphire crystal, a full-length bracelet which is heavy, by the way, with screw links, a milled clasp, and we have some screws, some screwdrivers, and a couple of gaskets. I assume this is going to be fairly straightforward, so let's cue the music. Good. Pretty simple job. Couple of screws at the back that needed taking off. Quick release on the bracelet, so that made that really easy to do. The only bits that were a little bit fiddly for me was taking out the black inner bit of the case so that can go onto the new case, and then putting in the gasket as well, which took a bit of a headache to actually get that in place and put it in. But otherwise it was really easy. I went for the full pack option available, which was the matte case. Unfortunately, the brushing or the polishing wasn't available. However, I actually prefer this matte case now looking at it fully completed. I think it makes it look like a proper tool watch. It's really heavy too. The OG resin case from Casio Royale comes in at just 67 grams on the resin strap and 91 grams on the full metal link bracelet. This one must be coming in at 150 grams-ish. And you can feel every single part of it on wrist. But you know what? I'm actually here for it. Regardless of the weight of this watch, 3 things still reign true in my opinion at least. Firstly, this watch offers the ultimate value and almost everything you need from a modern day watch with retro cues. Secondly, this wears really well on the wrist regardless of how light or heavy it is, and that is down to its classic design and proportions. And finally, say this bit really quietly with me, this is logically everything you need from a watch. I know, blasphemous, aren't I? Alright, so it lacks the class of the JLC Reverso, or perhaps the versatility of the Omega Aquaterra, or the desirability of a Rolex Submariner. But you have to admit that if we were purely creatures of logic and nothing else, this would be a one and done. But we aren't emotional animals, are we? We buy with our heart and use logic to justify it. And maybe, just maybe, that's all the better for it. So, ranting out of the way, this is the new Casio Royale in my collection, the AE1200. I'm now going to compare it with the original metal bracelet version with the resin case, and you can see that this one just oozes a little bit more functionality. Yes, the original one has its charm, and I actually think it's probably a little more dressier because it's more brushed and polished, whereas this one is matte. However, I think this looks like a proper tool watch, and it can sit alongside my G-Shock and my other Casios in my collection as being one of the big stayers. But what do you guys think of SKX mods? Have you used them before? Let me know in the comments below. If you are interested in modding your Casio, have a look at their website. Again, it's not affiliated. Have a look anyway. You might find something that you like. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching this video and making it to the end of this video. Take care everyone, and I will see you all in a future video.